I don't get it. I mean, this guy, he looks like he belongs in GQ or something. Just smooth as hell. How does he get his hair to go that way? I mean, this guy looks like one of those guys that he could just, he could just go to any girl in the world and they would just be begging him to put a ring on it.
I got cystic fibrosis. See, I've got cystic fibrosis.
Alright, let's go down into video mode. I feel like Batman. You know how when Batman like touches the button and then like slides down into like anyway. That's not what's happening here. Week 2, season 3, growing up with CF. This is the 3rd time I think I've done this actual topic. So I don't know how much I all remember, but key is, if I don't cover a lot in this video, you can check out my own channel, Larry Bryan CF, where I cover a lot on there as well on this topic. So anyway, I'm gonna be pretty similar to Chad and Taylor. By the way, congrats Taylor on the engagement. It's freaking awesome. Anyway, I was super psyched to see that video. But yeah, so I'm gonna be like Chad and Taylor because I didn't really have many problems growing up with CF as far as health issues. But I have some interesting point of views I would like to share with you guys, and especially parents out there that are raising a kid with CF right now, and why I think the way I think when it comes to this topic. But anyway, so let's get started. So growing up with CF, I did not have very many health issues at all. I think I was hospitalized for like a few days in 5th grade or something, right? It was for lung infection, blah, 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 blah. But the one thing I took away from growing up with CF was my mindset and how my parents raised me, which I was mainly only with my mom, but she's a very positive person and let me do anything and everything, and not in a bad way. But, we had a friend that had CF that wasn't a friend, but like, I knew who he was. His mom didn't let him do hardly anything at all. And he ended up getting really sick, went down a bad path with, stomach G-tubes and hospitalizations, and he would not take his enzymes, and he did the whole rebellion thing, and then he ended up with a lung transplant. I think he's doing pretty good now. But either way, point is, he wasn't allowed to go to play places or carnivals or Six Flags, like theme parks and stuff like that, because they had too many germs. Now, on the other hand, my mom raised me pretty much the opposite. We would go to Chuck E. Cheese like every weekend. We would go to drive up to the city to go to a theme park, once a month. I always had big birthday parties with all kids, all kinds of kids coming over, all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm very, very thankful for that. I would hate to look back as an adult and say, man, I missed out on my childhood because of CF. And obviously it didn't hurt me at all. I didn't go to the hospital. If anything, I think it probably built my immune system up stronger. So my point of view and perspective is never hold your child back because you're afraid of what might happen. Now, if you start going places and your child starts getting sick a lot, sure, okay, let's take a few steps back and rethink what's going on. But it's just ignorant, and I don't think it's fair to the child to just automatically say, oh, well, you have CF, we're not going to do these things. But anyway, enough with that topic. But so I was very thankful growing up. Aside from all the things I got to do, I was raised with a very positive mindset. I knew I had CF as a child, but I didn't really understand what that meant and how impactful it could be to my life. So CF to me was just a condition I had, like, other kids have asthma. I had to do breathing treatments for it. I had to take my enzymes when I ate, things like that. But I was okay with that. I didn't really understand it, but I just knew it was something I had to do. My mom made me do it. And then, as I got older in elementary school, 3rd grade, 4th grade, whatever it may be, my mom would kind of tell me more and more. And I was always a very mature kid compared to the other kids my age due to the fact of having CF and trying to understand what it was like. And my mom would always stress to me, Brian, when you grow up, you need to have a very good job that has good insurance to help pay for your medical bills. So some things, maybe I shouldn't have been told as a kid, just so I prevent stress. But for the most part, I was very mature for that reason. And so by the time elementary school hit, I knew that, CF could have an effect on my lifespan. Once again, as a kid, we're all like invincible, right? Like we don't really understand lifespan and the fact that we could die one day or get hurt and break an arm type stuff. So it didn't mean too much to me, except for the fact that I had a classmate in 5th grade, a little girl that I had a crush on, I think. And she actually came up to me one day and said, I heard you have a disease or something and you're going to die when you're 16. That struck me pretty hard. Of course, I played it cool. I laughed it off. I said, no, that's not true. I'm not really sure what you're talking about. And that was the end of it. After a couple days, it was forgotten about. And by the way, if you guys don't already know from my other videos, I did not tell any of my friends or girlfriends growing up I had CF. My family knew. My very, very close friends knew I had to do breathing treatments because I had some type of respiratory condition. Usually I called it severe asthma, but I did not tell my friends growing up I had CF. So, so anytime it came up, something like that in 5th grade, I just brushed it off. So you guys can imagine, because of that 5th grade incident, what it was like when I turned 16, 17 in high school, and I still saw that girl in my class. It was just justice. Being like, you remember this, And of course, she was a 5th grader back then. Like, she didn't really understand. It wasn't something that I hold a grudge against her on, but it was just something that, kind of got to me. Anyway, so I'm very glad, though, that I was raised the way I was, to where I didn't have to tell my friends I had CF. My mom kind of gave me that choice. I played sports. I played 9 years of basketball, 7 of baseball. I played lacrosse in high school, and I skateboarded for 5 years with all my friends, almost every single day. So I was always active, always doing something, and that was great because I never had the mindset like, oh, I wonder if I can't do this because of CF. I didn't even know what it was like to have your breathing taken away from you or shortness of breath or anything like that. And even when I played lacrosse in high school, I had an assistant coach, which is a mom that knew me from when I was in elementary school. And she pulled me aside and said, hey, Brian, I let the coach know that you have CF, and if you need to, you can step aside and not run as much as the coach is making the other guys. And we had this hardcore coach. I mean, this coach was like getting paid very well, traveled all over the country to coach. Like, he was the real deal. And I just looked at her, I said, I can do just as much, if not run faster than the other guys. That's how my mind was, and I'm very proud of that. And I went away to college and I did the whole party thing and the typical staying up late and not eating well and all that stuff. And yeah, that was bad, but I learned a lot from that. And to this day, even though my lung function's at 40%, 43 right now, but I still do not regret at all how I grew up as a child. I think that was the best way to do it. I lived every day like it was my last. Not as in like I threw a party every day, but I had no worries. Was just a very happy, exciting child, and just did a lot. And I really bonded with my mom because of the way she raised me. It was just me and her. We talked about my health a lot. We talked about like all the fun things I want to do. We talked about, classmates, friends, all this kind of stuff. So we formed a very close relationship, and I think CF really played a part in that because I never worried about it, but she worried about it a lot. So she would try to bond with me in other ways so that she could better gauge how my health is doing, if that makes sense. Anyway, so for all the parents out there, I highly recommend keep your child positive. Try not to hold back or limit your child at all, such as like Taylor said in his video. I think it's very, very important. Let your kid know they can do anything they want. I never thought I couldn't do anything until I was down and out in college. I was on the ventilator. I was told I was going to be on oxygen full-time the rest of my life, insulin the rest of my life, all this stuff that was just, a burden and just took a huge, punch to my life. And that's the first time in my whole life that I thought, wow, you know, I'm never going to be able to have a career. I'm never going to be able to work or make good money, you know, all these things. And that's the very first time. And, you know, I was in the hospital 29 times throughout all of college, as you guys saw in my other videos. And here I am on my lunch hour right now filming this video because I got to get back to my job and work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Like, I love what I do, and I'm so thankful for where I am right now. So please, if you are a caretaker or mom, listen to this. If you are a patient of any kind, whether it be CF, whether it be, you know, diabetes or Crohn's disease or whatever these illnesses might be, or if you're just a normal person that just really has a lot of struggles going on or big hurdles in your life, you can get past those and live how you want to live. So I know I'm starting to get off topic of growing up with CF, but I just really want to kind of reiterate that. But yeah, so tying it back in, you know, growing up with CF, stay positive, do whatever you can. I always did my treatments when I was young. Now, as a kid, I did somewhat fake my treatments every once in a while. So I'd put my nebulizers together, but I wouldn't ever use them, just so my mom thought I did them after school, because I was busy. I had to go hang out with my friends and go to, you know, basketball practice or go skateboard or whatever it was. So I ended up doing that a lot as, I don't know, a middle schooler, I think it was, and maybe early high school. But like I said, I just never was sick and didn't understand the impact that CF could have. And if I could go back in time, sure, I would tell myself, hey, you know, you need to understand more what these treatments do and how they're helping you. And if not helping you right now, they could help you in the long term, if that makes sense. But, you know, it's hard to tell someone they're doing wrong when there's no side effects happening. And back then, you know, I was very, very active. I think that's what really, really helped me. And I didn't see any side effects from skipping treatments. And I don't think my time in college was a side effect from me skipping treatments when I was younger. Now, my time in college is probably a side effect from me skipping treatments and going to parties in college. But it wasn't something to do with when I was younger. I always had 90% lung function or higher growing up. So anyway, you know, try to get in a physical activity you really enjoy, whether it be a sport, whether it be some type of hobby. You know, you always get my memory card ran out of space, and I have not deleted like any videos from when I started filming this channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping up this video because I feel like I'm just repeating the same thing I've been saying, just in different ways. But yeah, so, you know, just try to live a normal childhood. I know, you know, we have CF, we have this illness or hurdles going on, whatever it may be, but especially with CF, it's hard to let loose because you're always afraid of what might happen. You hear these horror stories, but it's very, very important to live as normal, if not more fun of a childhood than usual, because you don't know how long life's going to be. And say you have CF and you don't know, CF is so unpredictable. You don't know if it's going to kick in at 16 or 25 or 42, you know, and that's really going to start changing your whole life. You just don't know. So if that happened to me, I would much prefer that I really lived a fun, filled, normal lifestyle growing up, rather than, you know, sacrificing my childhood just so I can stay healthier, and then you don't know what's going to happen in the future. It's kind of sad to see people do that stuff. But anyway, guys, hope this was a decent video for growing up with CF. Like I said, if I didn't cover everything, if you were looking for something for me to say that I hadn't, go back and watch the previous videos, or go to my channel, Larry Bryan CF, and I probably covered it on there. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys all had a great Christmas. We got New Year's coming up. I don't know what I'm going to do for New Year's, but I'm about to find out pretty shortly. But I will see you guys later, and I got to get back to work. See you next Thursday. Hashtag stay salty, guys.
See, I've got cystic fibrosis.